All right. Hey, everyone. Good job on the draft. This is a video to show you how to enter horses into races. So you'll see here, this is the league page's home page. To find, you might see I moved this next up to, from here, the draft is now over down to week one or race day number one. So if you follow that row over, here's the announced races. So this is where you'll see the races for race day number one. Open this, which you should all have access to. Let me know if you need access to a link to this. Everyone should have it, but no big deal if you want me to send it again. All right, so this is what the announced races sheet will look like. You can see it's season one, race day one, and then races 1 through 16. So to preview, what you do is, let's say you want to enter a horse into race number one. You'll go to your own personal entry sheet here and put the number of your horse in under race one. A horse can only race once per day, so you cannot put the same horse in more than one race. However, you can put more than one of your horses in the same race. If you wanted like 3 of them to race in race number one. Okay, now for some details. I wouldn't start on this page so much. I think what might make more sense is to go to your stable first. So these have all been updated. So let's see, who have I maybe not used as an example yet? Maybe Johnny. So I think that what you'll do is you'll come here and look at your horses and say, first you'll see how fatigued they are, since none of the horses have ever raced in their lives. Everyone's completely fresh. If they've raced recently, this will reflect that they're some level of tired, and the number that's there it's on the same scale as their expected race scores, which are the ratings that you looked at for the draft. So, for example, if your horse is an 80 and their current fatigue is -9, then they will perform like a 71. Anyways, everyone's completely fresh, so I sort of anticipate that most horses will enter into race day one races. So let's say Johnny wants to enter Phantom Ring, horse number 5, into a race. So he should come here and see that it's a male 7-year-old grade C horse. And if you go over here, you'll see that there are some races that grade C horses, like this race is only open to grades K through J. This one's only open to grades G through E. So Phantom Ring wouldn't qualify for those. There's also they're restricted. Some are restricted by age. These are not. These are 3 to 7. This one's 3 to 4. These stakes races down here are open only to 4 and up. And then there's some are open to females only, or some to males only. And then this column, there's such a thing in horse racing as maiden races, which means that it's only open to horses that have never won in their lives. This, since no horse has ever won, I just made this a completely open criteria this time around. You'll see the purses. This is how much money is available to be won. So this first race that's open for grades K through G, the purse size is 45 grand. This one that's open to horses F through A down here, race number 14, is the total money to be distributed to the winners is 95 grand. And then there's these stakes races, which are the championship ones, the only ones that require an entry fee. And you'll see they have pretty enormous purses. There are some strategic considerations. Races are either conducted on dirt or turf surfaces. Horses' general rating, the the numbers that you used in the draft reflects how well they perform on dirt, but some perform differently on turf surfaces. Most of them perform only a little bit different, but some perform dramatically different. So, for example, here looking at Johnny's Chasmo 69 is a plus on turf. There's a definition section too, but that means that it performs markedly better when it's on a turf surface. There are some, like Phantom Ring would perform markedly worse. Runt would perform a little bit better on turf. Another one, which is a pretty important column perhaps to look at, is the distance. Races are performed, all the races are 6 to 12 furlongs, and every horse has an ideal distance, the distance that it would perform best at. If you put your horse in a race that is its exact ideal distance, so for example, let's see, Phantom Ring is his ideal distance is 8.5. Here's one that's 8.5. I don't know if he otherwise qualifies for it, but he would do well. Or you would expect him to perform decently at that distance. 9 is super, the further off you are. So for example, if this horse's ideal distance is 12. So it's a real marathon runner. If you put it in a sprint, a race that is, 6 furlongs or so, I think he would expect really poor performance because the horse is not built for that kind of race. The difference, if your ideal distance is 8, performing at a distance of 6 or 10 isn't so bad, but you can see how that starts to get kind of further away from your distance, the ideal distance. All right, lastly, this is important. It's the 3 kinds of races. So I'll start with allowance. Those are the simplest races. They're free to enter. You enter your horse in a race. It performs however it performs, and if it wins any money, then you get the money and you keep your horse no matter what. Then there are stakes races, which are the big championship, big prize ones. Those are the only ones that require an entry fee, and most of them have they're harder to qualify for. You can see all of the stakes races for the whole season on the homepage at the bottom. You can plan accordingly. Then the other races are claiming races. They're similar to allowances in that there's no entry fee, and that you enter your horse in a race, and if it wins any money, then you get the winnings. The difference is that the horse is also for sale. So let's say Jessie puts Enchantment, her Taylor Swift horse, into a claiming race. Let's say this one, race number 12. The claiming amount is 25 grand. So then after everyone's entered their horses into races, I will post all the entries so you can see what horses are scheduled to race in what race. You'll then have, a week or so before the races to enter your claims. So if Enchantment is in race 12 and Christian thinks, okay, yes, I would spend 25 grand to obtain Enchantment, then he'll go to his claim sheet and under race 12 put whatever Enchantment's number was, 92. Say I would like to put in a claim on Enchantment. If he's the only one that puts in a claim, then he gets Enchantment and Jessie gets 25 grand. So you can see how that might be a way for Jessie to raise her current, her money, where Christian would be playing the long game and hope that Enchantment makes that money as the season progresses. I'll be honest with you. You guys surprised me in the draft. I thought there would be more interest in these mid-level horses, these like F and G level horses, than there were. So there's more horses that are unowned left over than I expected. And these lower claiming amounts, I'm going to put a bunch of those horses in these races so you can still claim them. You might notice that the grade minimum and maximum for claiming races is completely open from the lowest K to the highest A. And that's because the claim amount should, I don't know, referee the quality of horses that get in. You know, this should be horses that are worth about $8,000. Because the idea is if you put a horse that is worth 50 grand into this race, then someone's going to claim them for 8 grand, and you probably could have got a way better price. But they're really likely to win. If you have a horse that's maybe worth like 2 grand, and you put them in here, it might be up against some stiff competition. But if someone claimed them for 8, then that'd be a pretty good margin for you. If no one puts in a claim, then you just keep the horse. Finally, the rules and notes tab over here explains what happens if more than one person puts in a claim for the same horse, and otherwise explains claiming. But anyway, the real point of this video was to show you how to do entries. I'd say go to your stable, look at your horses, decide if you want to enter them in a race for race day number 1, and if so, using, you know, their sex, age, grade, ideal distance, and turf grade, see what one you think would be a good fit, and then when you decide, okay, I want horse number 9 to be in race number 14 or whatever, then you go to race 14 and put number 9. Let me know if you have questions. Thanks, guys.